Hello, welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. I'm your host, Francy Hall. We'll be joined shortly by Mayor Tom Kuntz and by the head of our Park and Recs Department, Corky Ebeling. Later in the show, we have taken a field trip, to visit with Mark Seeley. You may recognize that name. He's our world-renowned local Minnesotan climatologist and meteorologist. We took a field trip to Climate Gen's conference that went on last week, so that'll be the second half of our show. So stay with us for the show coming up after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Rick Smith, Golf Course Superintendent of the Brooktree Golf Course. Brooktree is an 18-hole championship golf course featuring well-manicured greens, tees, and fairways. We are open to the public. I challenge you to find a better maintained golf course for the money we charge here at Brooktree. Come on out and play Brooktree, a great golf course.
Hello, I'm David Einhaus with the Owatonna Foundation. Thank you to all of our donors who have helped make Owatonna a better place to live. Will you join us today with a financial gift? Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back, and let's welcome Mayor Tom Kuntz. Hello.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and Corky Ebeling also here.
Nice to be back.
All right. So there's a list of things that you want to talk about today.
But first of all, I think we'll talk about Park and Rec and a community event that's taking place at Brooktree.
That sounds great.
And I will turn that over to Corky.
Okay, Corky, you're on.
Okay, well, the first day of fall is this Wednesday, September 23rd. And for that event, for that day, we have come up with an event called, it's a community event for everyone, not just golfers, and it's out at Brooktree. And people ask why we're doing this. Well, our main purpose is we kind of want to showcase the golf course clubhouse and the patio that we have. We've had some big improvements done in the last 2 years to the clubhouse and to a new patio outside. And so with that, in the first day of fall, we came up with this event called a Shindig on the patio at Brooktree. We're going to have free music from 7:30 to 9:30. The reason we waited for the fall for that as well was the concerts downtown got over, the fair got over, and so we thought what a perfect time. We might, if this is popular and people want it, we might continue with a fall series next year. So
that sounds great. I like it, the Fall Shindig.
Fall Shindig. So yeah, it's golfing all day for $1 a hole for anybody. Then that evening from 5 to 7 we have a taco bar for $5. And then we'll have beverages, 2-for-1 appetizers, pizza specials, and then the concert itself will be from 7:30 to 9:30 featuring Jake Jones.
What kind of music does Jake Jones play?
Jake calls it old style, old time country with a combination of southern country rock.
Okay.
He's got a raspy voice, a very unique voice. He was a friend of my son. They met in a fraternity at Gustavus. And he decided one of his new songs coming out is called Catching Dreams, and it's about himself, and he wants to be an artist, and he's getting very, very popular. This could be a one-time shot where we get him here for free.
Catch him now before he becomes super famous.
He played at the fair, and right away he had bookings after that event. Rochester concerts at the River Center series in the summer have contacted him. The State Fair has contacted him. He plays at the 7th Ave a lot in Minneapolis. Treasure Island, he plays at a lot.
So he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal. Yeah, he's very friendly. It'll just be him and his partner. It won't be his full band. And he'll come and acoustic guitar music with some lyrics. And I think you'll enjoy it. He's got one CD out, and then he'll be playing for the second time only. His new CD will be released. Songs from that will be played that night as well. Everybody that's heard him says, who is he? Where does he play next? And that was very good. And then,
so we're lucky then.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Yeah.
And a little connection there to get him. And so we want to celebrate Brooktree and showcase off our clubhouse and patio. Give some free music. We have seating for up to 500. We don't know what to expect.
Really, 500
for this event. And but we encourage people to bring their lawn chairs as well. Just in case you want a backrest to sit on. And if we do get lucky on the weather and it packs the house, we can.
It's going to be beautiful Wednesday.
Let's hope so. And if it does rain, we will be moving it inside the clubhouse, and so that will get limited if that does happen.
But it's a new clubhouse and a new patio.
The clubhouse isn't new, but we did a lot of remodeling to the kitchen area. And then the patio is now a year old outside, and that's what we're really looking to showcase is the patio. We had a wedding there already. We've had a wedding reception there, and we just want to showcase because it is up for people to use other than golfers.
The patio can be rented?
Yes.
Is that it?
As well as the clubhouse in the off-season. In the spring, we have a fireplace in the patio, and so it becomes and its view is the sunset, and so it becomes a really nice thing. And that's the reason we have the music at 7:30 as well. We could have maybe gone a little early. We want the golf to be done, finishing up before the music does start, so we don't interfere with the golfers. And so that's why it's a 7:30 start.
Okay. So again, the day for that is this coming Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday the 23rd.
This coming Wednesday.
Yeah, and so we're hoping for a big crowd. It's like I say, a treat to have him come to play. I don't know if we'll get him again. If we do, we'll have to pay a lot more. I know that probably. So, yeah, we're excited. We're hoping this turns into a series. You know, you got DeCam and Johnson, the local two young guys that are playing. That kind of groups is what we're looking to bring to Brook Tree.
So if we get a good showing,
yes,
then we might do this again next
yes,
year and maybe the fall. Let me ask you a kind of a selfish question, and that is the patio, so you said the patio has a fireplace and it looks, you know, you got great sunsets. So do you have to be a member of Brook Tree in order to come and enjoy the patio and get some, you know, on a regular basis, not just for, no, really?
No, it's open. The clubhouse and the patio are open to anybody for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We have, you know, a light breakfast. We have the burgers, the chicken sandwiches, the appetizers, and pizzas. That's kind of the extent of where we go. Eventually, we run specials, and then there is times where, but we have the capabilities of cooking prime rib if a company wants to use it.
Or vegetarian.
Or vegetarian, or anything you would like to have. Yes.
Some of us are leaning that way. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Corky. That's a lot of good information about Wednesday's fall shindig.
At Brook Tree.
All right.
And the patio is just beautiful. If you haven't ever had an opportunity to stop and use it, this is a great time to see it.
Yeah.
And it's part of that $1.8 million that we had from the tree.
DuPont, yeah, the Imprellis. We had a mishap happen where we sprayed a chemical here 2 years ago that killed 800 trees on the golf course. And through a settlement with that company, the Brook Tree received $1.8 million. So many improvements throughout the course have been done with that money. Cart paths through the entire golf course now, to rebuilding tees, to equipment, and then in the clubhouse, it was specifically the patio and the remodeling of the kitchen was done with this money. And so a lot of improvements at the Brook Tree. If you haven't played golf at Brook Tree, you should check it out. It looks beautiful.
Did they plant new trees?
Yes,
we
planted a few, but planting some more this year. Strategically planting trees. So some of the trees that were lost were not necessarily needed on the course, and so yeah, it was a win-win for a Brook Tree.
Well, tragedy, but out of tragedy came something that sounds like it's going to be really, really good for the community.
I always try and talk them into giving me a can of paint when I'm out there golfing, so I can mark the trees that need to be removed.
You're just going to have to improve your game, Tom. You know what the problem is that you're constantly on the move. You just don't get to golf enough.
There you go.
That's what it is.
And the other good thing the Park and Rec Department's got going on in the fall that's always very popular is the Passports in the Park.
Yes, that is now entering its second week, so if you haven't started, get out this week. You can find it on our website. The application forms go right up to the West Hills. We have clues within the parks. Every 2 weeks we change it, and it's a 4-week, I believe, program. And at the end, if you find all the clues and solve the mystery clues phrase, you get put into a drawing. And then that drawing is giving away some very nice prizes through some generous sponsors, and that's given away at the council meeting by Tom.
Well, let me understand this. They changed the passwords at the parks halfway through this. So I have to go twice to the park to get the
4
password?
weeks. 4-week program, or a 6-week program. I think it's every 3 weeks. I'm not absolutely 100% sure. I should have brought the flyer.
So I don't just go once?
No, for 2 weeks we'll have a clue in a certain park.
Oh, okay.
And it's on a path. walking path, whether it be asphalt or chip, and then there'll be signs along those paths that you find that have the words. And there'll be 2 words in each of these parks. We go from Mineral Springs to the new North Strait River Trail off of North Street between North and 26th Street. Mineral Springs, I might have said that. Leo Rudolph Nature Reserve.
How many parks do we have?
I think we have around 39, but 31 developed. And
Great.
we have 8 that are undeveloped.
It's a lot like the state park program.
Yes.
There's the state park trail program that you can walk through and get the passwords. We are getting a little bit close on time here, so I think, Mayor, what kind of news do you have for us?
This is the budget study time again. So
Everybody's so excited about the budget.
and so before the council meetings, they usually start at 5:30 now, and review budgets. So we went through the police and community development. We've also went through public works. They're open to the public, so if you have some input that you want to come to the meetings at 5:30. And
What day of the week are those?
those are always right before the council meeting, so it's the first and third Tuesday of the month,
Okay.
right before the council meeting. Just a reminder that if you have a special event like Walk for the Heart or the Homecoming Parade or anything, you need to go to and see Jeanette up at City Hall and get a permit. There's always several permits that are coming to the council meetings all the time. We have some proclamations that we did this last time, suicide prevention and Riverland Community College. We also have a couple properties that are inside the city limit boundaries that are on the county's tax forfeiting, and one of them is Bubba's Bar at 224 North
Oh.
Cedar Avenue.
Now, how is this important to the general public? Because what, we can buy it, or what? I mean,
That
what's
will
the-
be open for bids on,
We haven't set the date yet, but it'll be coming soon.
Okay, so
so
these
yeah,
properties.
they are open for inspection, and you can come and take a look at them. And the other one is at 175 22nd Avenue Street Northeast. It's kind of a hotel-type situation.
Was this the old Cedar? Was this the? I'm sorry, nursing home?
No.
Okay, it just looks a little bit
No,
like
it's
that.
like low-income apartment
Okay.
type
Yep.
areas.
Okay.
And so those are available, and you can take a look at them and inspect them and bid on them.
All right, so properties for sale apparently at the city, almost, right? Thanks for being here. That went very fast.
It did.
Appreciate you being here very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we will be back with our field trip to visit with Mark Seeley, the climatologist and meteorologist who you know from NPR and other places. Stay with us after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Mike Bath, General Manager of the Napa Distribution Center and 2015 Corporate Campaign Leader for United Way of Steele County. Every dollar donated during this year's United Way campaign is an investment in the future of our county. Our goal this year is to raise $670,000 to create a stronger, healthier community where everyone has the opportunity to meet their basic life needs and reach their full potential. It takes all of us pulling together to meet our common goals. And thank you for doing your part to support United Way of Steele County by giving from the heart to this year's campaign.
Hi, my name is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance. We're here to handle all your insurance needs. We are a very proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Hi, this is Doug Johnson at the Owatonna Business Incubator, a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show. We'd like to welcome you to the incubator. If you're a small business, whether you're existing or a startup, we can help you with office space, manufacturing or warehouse, and free confidential counseling.
Welcome Welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. We are your community connection. I'm your host, Francy Hall, and I have a very distinguished guest standing next to me. You probably will recognize his name. This is Mark Seeley, and you might know him from Morning Edition with Kathy Wurzer and others. Mark, welcome so much to the Owatonna Today Show and to Owatonna.
Well, it's a pleasure to be down here. I've been visiting off and on down here for well over 35 years. And, Owatonna is one of our many climate observation sites in the state of Minnesota.
Aha! Well, we'll have to learn a bit about that. Now, we're here today because you are going to be giving a presentation or speaking at what is called Climate Generation Owatonna. There's a convening going on here talking about climate change, and so that's what you're doing here.
Right.
And thank you so much for being willing to take time to speak with us and talk to the people here in Owatonna. We appreciate it. So, you're a meteorologist.
Right.
You're a climatologist.
Right.
Can you tell me, first of all, what got you interested in those things?
Well, I was going to be a lawyer, believe it or not, Francie. Yeah, I had already gone to college, and I was out working, and I became a volunteer weather observer. Now, this was not in Minnesota. This was out in the western U.S. But taking the daily weather observations for the National Weather Service became a real infatuation. And all of a sudden I thought, this stuff's really interesting. And maybe I'm spinning my wheels in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? So I went back to school, got my master's in meteorology, was going to go to work for the National Weather Service, but their first assignment for me was going to be in the island of Guam in the Western Pacific. And I didn't exactly want to go there.
Really?
Yeah,
you didn't?
yeah.
That sounds fabulous
well,
to me.
At the time, I was...
You're a real Minnesotan.
I was more interested in staying here. So anyway, I went later. I got an offer, and I went to Nebraska to get a PhD in climate science, which is the weather history side of the equation. Of course, meteorology is weather today and into the future, and climate science is weather today, but in the context of the past.
Okay, so I get it. The weather is what's happening right now,
right.
And climate is a history of time,
right?
Probably from the beginning of time until now. Which actually, this book, I just want to say, I'm holding his book right now, the second edition of this Minnesota Weather Almanac, and you said that it's a history of weather in Minnesota.
Right, and this serves as kind of a foundation for me being here for the convening in Owatonna, because I'm kind of, by this time, after 37 years, known as Minnesota's weather historian. And so what the picture I want to paint for citizens to think about is that we have a rich history, a lot of good measurements in Minnesota that tell us what our climate's like, how it's behaved in the past, what some of the extremes are, and things like that.
And we know extremes here.
We do.
Definitely
We are the land of extremes, and we're noted for that internationally. How resilient we are in living with the weather that we have. But I think fundamentally what the data are showing us is that our climate's changing. Our climate behavior today is different than it was in the past. And I can show people in their local backyard measurements, like here in Owatonna, or up at Faribault, or down in Rochester, or whatever. I can show how the changes have come about in the last few decades. And not only that, but not only the measured changes in the climate, we can relate them to some things that are having impact, like on our watersheds, our lakes and rivers, on our energy use, on our transportation systems,
our whole life.
It affects our whole life.
I mean, I don't think anybody more than Minnesotans know how the weather and the climate affects life here. It really determines so much of what we do and how we do it.
You couldn't be more right. And the reason I do it with our history, the reason I frame it with our history, and I don't use the climate models which tell us what it's going to be in 2050, is because our history as a Minnesota culture is our common bond. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? And so if I can frame it in history and what it's meant historically, how other Minnesotans have had to cope and adjust with it, and the fact that we're continuing to change as we go into the future, I think that can initiate a little bit more community dialogue and discussion about it.
Do you think that helps people actually understand that there is climate change is real? Because, man, we love to talk about the weather, and historically, I mean, when I moved here in 2001, I kept hearing about the big Halloween storm of '89 or whatever it was.
Right.
And so, I mean, we still love to talk about all of that.
Right.
So there are signposts along the way.
No, you're absolutely right. Everybody has vivid memories of very important points in their lives. All of us do that. And many of those are bookmarked by what the weather was like, especially if it was extreme, you know, like an extreme winter or an extreme storm, like the 1991 Halloween blizzard you referred to.
Oh, it was 91, okay.
It was 91. Or that terribly wet June we had in 2014. The wettest singular month in Minnesota history was just last year in June of 2014.
I didn't know.
And so we have that. We all have those kinds of memories, and we retain those, but showing people how the measurements are changing, really showing them what our data are telling us, because you see there's a story in the data.
So what is the story? So help us understand. Well, first of all, I do want to know, how is it that you are involved with climate generation? Real quick.
Well, I've been an educator for the University of Minnesota Extension for 37 years, and I've also been a steward or caretaker of the Minnesota State Climate Database. We look after all of the observational measurements, and we ensure that they're of good quality, that they're available to the public, and our state agencies and other people that use them in the right way, and, you know, we give recommendations. I've also educated about what we see in the analysis of those data, why it's important to strategically plan, for example, our energy use, or our transportation, our roads and highways,
our agriculture, our planting,
our agriculture,
reaping.
Our garden, for crying out loud, what we put in the garden, you know. So I've been educating all along in that, and so climate generation is all about education too. And climate generation is about educating, especially through the greater Minnesota educational systems and the teachers and the community leaders, about how the climate is changing and what impacts it's having. Because this isn't something out in the future. This is already happening. This is already happening now.
Let's talk about that. What are you said? You know, there's measurements you can talk about right now. So what is going on right now? What's the most important thing that you think that we need to know about climate change right now?
Well, one thing that we've learned and that we've talked about a great deal in recent years is in our Minnesota climate, some of the features that are changing the most are in the winter season, the season of long nights and short days. And we're seeing the most prolific temperature change, for example, in that season. We're seeing a contracting of the snow season, so that the snow cover season is actually getting smaller, fewer days. A lot of the area lakes, including those lakes here in the Owatonna area, we're seeing the duration of ice cover on those lakes contract decade by decade. In other words, it's getting lesser days.
And how does that affect us?
And so that's affecting us in a variety of ways. Like just on our roads alone, Minnesota Department of Transportation is really struggling to cope with this, as are a lot of the local cities and counties. And that is that we're more frequently seeing freeze-thaw cycles in winter.
Which is really hard on our roads.
Which is hard on not only our roads, but our parking lots and everything else. Because we get this tremendous expansion contraction that cracks everything, cracks our foundations. And so we're seeing a lot of effort put into trying to gain a better understanding of that, and how can we mitigate that, or can we mitigate that? So that's just one little facet.
And that's something we all know about here in Minnesota, our roads and our, all the surfaces that are covered, and how much of a beating they take.
Right.
So, Mark, I know we don't have a whole lot of time. You said that, I know you're a teacher still. Are you not? Are you still at the U of M?
I still am an educator, although most of my teaching is done in greater Minnesota. I travel about and talk a lot with community groups. And
you said that, you have this history that you keep, you're the steward of. If people want to learn more about it, is there a website that you can direct us to?
Well, yes. Two sources that I'll mention tonight. The Climate, simple word, Climate, climate.umn.edu.
Okay.
That's an easy one.
Climate.um.edu.
That'll take you right to a website that houses the entire state climate database is there.
Okay.
And you can interact with it. And then the Minnesota Weather Almanac, because this is a documentation of everything significant in the weather and climate arena from 1807 to 2014.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being our climate historian and for being here with us. We appreciate it.
Well, it's
so
a
much.
pleasure. Thanks for chatting with me.
Thank you for joining us. Please stay with us after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, Warren Abraham, Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you. Owatonna Public Utilities.
We are back with your community announcements. First off, the Owatonna Foundation is making available $15,000 in grants to students who will be attending non-four-year programs at technical and community colleges. Applications must be submitted by October 25th. For more information, call Jill Holmes at 455-3059. Oops. Autism Spectrum Disorder Parent Support Group is coming up this Tuesday, the 22nd, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Associated Church. For more information, call 451-9769. We just spoke about it. It's the fall shindig that's going on for Parks and Recreation. It's taking place at the Brooktree patio, the new patio. There will be food, there will be drinks, and there will be free music. That is Wednesday, this Wednesday, September 23rd. Call 444-4321 for more information. Steele County Historical Society is welcoming 4 Vietnam veterans who are talking about their experiences in the Vietnam War, and that is this Thursday, September 24th, starts at 7 p.m. in the Wenger Room. Finally, Culture Fest is coming up September 26th. That's this Saturday. It starts at 10:30 a.m. and it goes until 4:30 p.m. There's food, there's music, there's art, there's dancing, there's all kinds of fun, so do that. It is at Wilson Elementary School. Also, we want you to come back and join us on Wednesday. We will be having the Steele County Ducks Unlimited talking about their banquet and conservation, as well as Fire Chief Mike Johnson for Fire Safety Month. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you Wednesday.